The information provided on this podcast is for general informational purposes only and is not intended as a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your qualified health provider with any questions you may have. Never disregard professional medical advice or delay in seeking it because of something you have heard on this podcast. Reliance on any information provided here is solely at your own risk.
Welcome. This is Birth, Baby. Your hosts are Sierra Morgan and Samantha Kelly. Sierra is a birth doula, hypnobirthing educator, and pediatric sleep consultant.
Samantha is a birth doula, childbirth educator, and lactation counselor. Join us as we guide you through your options for your pregnancy, birth, and postpartum journey. Thank you to our listeners for your continued support. If you enjoy our content, please be sure to like, follow, rate, and review wherever you listen to podcasts. This helps us gain visibility to other people that could benefit from listening in. Hello, everyone. Today we have Dr. Kristi Hammerle back with us. She is a pediatric physical therapist and certified breastfeeding specialist. She's the owner of Year One Wellness. We have had her on before, so if you have not listened to her past episode, be sure to go back and listen to that. And one of her passions is educating the community on the benefits of optimal development for all babies, and that's easier to do when you have good baby containers. So she is here for our baby registry series, and she's going to talk to us about all things baby containers. Thanks so much for being here with us.
Thank you guys for having me on again. I had such a great experience the first time, and I think containers is a really hot topic. So I'm happy to share my perspective in regards to development, baby development, and safety on all things containers.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk about this because I feel like things change so much, even from when I first started doulaing to now, and then much less when I was having babies to having this baby. I'm like, I don't even know what I'm supposed to put on registry. So that's why you're here today, to tell me what to put on my registry and all of my happy listeners. So we are excited.
Everybody help
selfish
know what's on Samantha Kelly's baby registry.
Yep. Yeah, and then just share that, make it public. Great.
That's right. Exactly. Okay. So let's dive into it. When parents are looking for our baby containers, because at some point we're going to need somewhere safe to put the baby down so that I can take a shower, so that my kids don't pick them up and walk away with them, cat doesn't jump on them, whatever is happening. So we've got bouncers and swings and activity centers and bouncy things and then high chairs. What sort of things do you suggest looking for in regards to safety or development with those things?
Mm-hmm. In regards to development, I think there are containers that are more appropriate for age ranges in babies. And usually with age ranges, a certain type of skill or posture or strength in the baby is accompanied with that. So just for example, a newborn might benefit from more of a bouncer or a swing or something that kind of coddles or cradles the body a little bit more, since they don't have a lot of that head control and body control yet. And then just to paint a little bit of a picture, as they move into, maybe 4 to 7 months, when they're starting to get a little bit more head control and trunk strength, they move into more of a baby seat or some kind of floor sitter container. Maybe once they hit, 7 to 9, 7 to 10 months, when their hips have gotten stronger, when they are able to be more upright and maintain that good posture, maybe that's when those static activity centers are more appropriate. And then if a baby's kind of moving and cruising and crawling around, I say at that point, just more of a baby gait is appropriate. And in general, I love, I guess you could call them containers, or the products that allow your baby to be contained in a safe space, but maybe their body isn't necessarily contained. So when they're little, maybe that's a pack and play or a playpen or something. But we can get into the nitty gritty of that versus swings. Can you put babies in things that are strapped down and all that good stuff? But that's, I guess, just the general guideline in terms of development. And then safety, I'll say real quick, there are all, I would say, good baby products are tested, safety tested. And so when thinking about, should I buy this new? Should I buy this used? You can maybe suss out which of those products, maybe car seats or crib mattresses, that might be better to, purchase new. They've just been tested. They're good to go. If you buy something used and you're worried about it, you can always go to the U.S. consumer product site to look up, hey, has this been recalled at some point? Are there any safety concerns? Which models, which products are best? So yeah, that would be the U.S. Consumer Product Safety website.
This is giving me flashbacks because my son is 7.5. And when we started this episode, my thoughts were like baby containers, like, I don't know how much guidance I felt like I needed on this. And then as you're talking, I'm like, oh, we had a crib. We had one of those little side sleeper halo bassinet things. We had a bumbo. We had a rock and play. You're not allowed to have those anymore. I had a DockATot. Not allowed to have those anymore. Like so many things were taken off the market. And it also was so different from what I had with my daughter, who's now 15. And you couldn't do the same things with my 7-year-old that you could do with my 15-year-old. And now Sam's having this new baby. You're not going to be able to do the things I did with my 7-year-old or your 7-year-old.
I don't even know.
I know. Yeah. It's like a whole new world out there. So are there products that are just better off to avoid? And if so, why?
I will speak in terms of development in this. And I might stay away from specific brands just because, again, it's always changing. And so what I say now might be different in a month, maybe was different last month. So in terms of things to avoid, okay, I've got a couple of things. When babies are smaller, and you're doing more of that baby wearing, when you're thinking about hip dysplasia and proper hip development, people tend to avoid that front-facing direction until babies are closer to 6 months. So I wouldn't necessarily say avoid baby wearing. Actually, I love baby wearing. But when you're thinking about forward-facing versus inward-facing, or outward-facing versus inward-facing, maybe sticking to that inward-facing until a baby's at least 4 months. The Institute of Hip Dysplasia recommends 6 months. I find that as babies are getting between that 4 and 6 months, they are getting a lot stronger and can then maybe handle that outward facing a little bit better. So that would be one thing I would say. Let's see, getting a little bit older as we move into the floor sitters. So what I'm talking about when I say this are, those like bumbo chairs that you might see. There's lots of different brands. You'll want to look for one that promotes more of like an upright or erect posture in babies, not necessarily the ones where they are just slouching back and they look like they're totally lounging, because that isn't great for spinal development, core strength, core development. So for example, I think a lot of people have heard this. The original bumbo seat has gotten a lot of backlash for having not the best design in terms of keeping babies in a good posture, but they actually have a new design, the bumbo multi-seat. So they've listened to the feedback. And then there are other brands out there, like the Up seat, for example, that are designed with baby posture in mind. So just something to consider when choosing a baby, a floor sitter. And then 2 or 3 other things that come top of mind that really my PT brain just can't let go are, let's see, using walkers to help with walking. And so there are lots of types of walkers out there. The walkers that I think therapists, developmental therapists don't love are the ones that babies are sitting in and they can move. And so they're, they're sitting in this seat. There's maybe a tray around them and they can move side to side, forward, back. And in terms of not loving it for development, it teaches a wonky walking pattern sometimes. So safety wise, well, careful because you don't want to like roll down the stairs or something.
Yes.
If that's going, but safety wise, maybe just if you have one of those lock the wheels and they can play in it and maybe not move around. And if you want to use a walker, wait till baby's a little bit stronger and use maybe one of those push walkers that look a little bit more like a lawnmower.
This is all cracking me up because I did all the wrong things, all of them.
I mean,
I'm just laughing as you're talking because I'm like, oh yeah, we totally had one of those walkers because he wanted to see everything and do everything, but he wasn't super mobile and I didn't want him to get under stuff and I had dogs. So I was like, get him one of those walkers, bud. Then you can go all the places you want to,
dog around. And hey, is every baby that uses these things or have used these things develop these bad developmental patterns? No. Definitely not. But the risk is there. And you just, as a parent, have to decide for yourself, is that risk worth it or not? And you're the parent and you have the luxury of making that decision for your family. So these are just things that I want parents to think about a little harder.
And a lot of it's like developmental too, right? Like, even talking about like the floor seats, like a lot of people will start using those floor seats before babies are like ready to sit up. And so then it leads to more of like the slouching, and the walkers too. Like they're using those before babies are maybe quite ready for that. So it can lead to more, developing bad habits before they're even supposed to have those habits.
Right. Yeah. And just for an example of what that might lead to, say you use a floor sitter where a baby's really slouched in it and they're not developing that core strength. Okay, well, chances are they will at some point, or they might need a little bit of intervention to at some point. But what might happen in the meantime is you're not developing all that nice core strength around your trunk, and maybe that delays rolling and being comfortable in your on tummy time. Well, babies are going to get older and cognitively, they're going to get so much more advanced. They're going to get smarter and they're going to want to be able to move and explore their environment and roll to get things and move around in tummy time. And if they don't have the motor skills to do that, they're going to be met with a lot of frustration. And you're going to be met with a lot of, oh my gosh, my baby can't move on their own. So I need to go do the dishes or I need to make dinner, but they are constantly needing me to get down there and help them and move them around. And so again, it just kind of helps. It helps babies move along developmentally that matches up with where they are socially, cognitively, things like that. Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
And then there is one other device that comes to mind, which is those like doorway jumpers, those jumpers that, oh my gosh, like you will never see a baby laugh and smile more than in one of those things. And it's so freaking cute. As a PT, I don't love it for the hip development aspect. It can lead to, it's just a lot of forces going through the hip joint. And so potentially hip dysplasia or just some discomfort there at the hips. And then what we see a lot of times with excessive use of those is toe walking in kids as they start to get closer to that walking stage and into toddlerhood, because they're bouncing off their toes. And it just, before they really have good weight bearing patterns in standing and walking, they're doing a lot of toe bouncing a lot. So yeah, those are the things that I kind of try to educate on a little bit more than the others.
Yeah. So does that, like with the bouncer, the jumper things, does that apply to like the ones that are static too? Like they have like the activity centers that have like the bungee rope things that connect up too. Would that be the same for those? They'd kind of not be great for hip dysplasia and toe walking?
I think those tend to not put as much force through the hips,
okay,
but it still does promote that toe bouncing, toe posture. Okay. So yeah, I just say avoid it if you can. I would rather you take your baby and bounce them up and down, kind of throw them up and down yourself and give them all of that fun vestibular sensory input that way.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. And so then like, are there, do you have like your favorite container sort of things for each developmental stage? Ones that you would be like, yeah, these are really great ones. I love them.
Yeah.
I mean, or are you like, I'm not telling you because I told you they might be recalled tomorrow.
Right. I'm so torn on this because I do have a couple of favorite products, but it's not because of the product. It's not because of the brand, rather, it's because of the posture in it. And so there are certain brands that have products that I just really don't like, and then products that I love. And then there are products that I've liked in the past that for a reason I didn't even consider have gotten recalled now. But I will say I do like the Upseat for a floor sitter. That was made by a physical therapist. So it's nice that posture was in mind. Something like the Skip Hop Activity Center is what you might look for in terms of design in posture. It has this base that can be adjustable. That way, when babies are standing in it, they aren't tiptoe. They can have a little bit more of a flat foot posture. And then it kind of wiggles side to side. So babies have to kind of work on their postural weight shifting like they would if they were moving when they were upright and standing or walking. So in terms
Samantha
of just
adds to cart.
I know,
to
I'm
registry.
Like, right? Yeah.
Pop
on my baby list right now. Just thank you.
Yep. The baby Bjorn bouncer, I feel like babies really like, and I kind of like the design on how it coddles the body. But again, I would encourage parents to think about, what if you were in that container and you were staying in there for X amount of time? If your body is hunched over to the side, like if your baby's slouching, or you are sitting so far back that you can't even get your arms forward, to use your arms to reach stuff. Or, if you're in some kind of baby lounger and, if you were in a lounger and your neck is flexed so far forward, how would you feel after a certain amount of time? And you want babies to look comfortable, look like you might want to look if you were in that particular container. And so just being mindful of kind of like, you want really midline posture. You want babies to be able to move their head side to side, and you want them to be able to have access to their arms for reaching. So as long as you keep those things in mind, use your gut feeling, you're probably on the right track, with containers, and don't feel like you have to use them is what I would say. Free floor play on the ground where babies can move their legs and arms around and practice reaching stuff. That's how babies gradually build up the strength to move through their milestones, from tummy time to rolling to sitting to crawling to walking. And so containers are really, I think, meant for you as parents to give you a break for a second, know your baby's in somewhere safe, know they might not get as frustrated. And hey, maybe 20 minutes here and there while you're making dinner, while you need to shower real quick. But for the other times, if you can do some floor play or some play. What am I trying to say? Pack and play.
Yep.
Play. Some play in a baby gate, and your baby's happy there, and they are, it's during their wake cycles, then I try to do that to start.
I love it.
I love it. Yeah, this is great. This is so helpful. And I'm not even having a baby. I'm like really into it. So if someone wanted to learn more about you and learn from you, how can they find you? And we'll, of course, add this in the show notes too.
Yeah. So again, I'm Kristi Hammerle. I'm a doctor of physical therapy and certified breastfeeding specialist. I own Year One Wellness. So here in Austin, we have physical and occupational therapy that helps babies with all things development. So that's feeding, that's body tension, torticollis, head shape, all the milestone stuff. You can find us on social media at Year One Wellness, all spelled out, pretty much on everything: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. You can visit our website, year1wellness.com, and we have a blog that talks about a lot of these things, including containers. Or you can always look up our contact information if you're local and you feel like, hey, I feel like my baby is struggling with XYZ developmental issue. We've got our email on there, our phone number, ways to contact us, all at year1wellness.com.
Thank you so much for being here. We always love talking with you. And y'all, seriously, go check out her social media because she's really good at it. Like, so much great information on there. So we will talk to you soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us on Birth, Baby. Thanks again to Longing for Orpheus for our music. You can look him up on Spotify. Remember to leave a review, share, and follow wherever you get your podcasts. See you next week.